Welcome back, everyone, to Take Two Podcast, episode 246. This is the podcast that likes to wear underwear that gives you take two sections for your twig and berries. Wait a second, what happened? You YouTubers are getting a show right now. Is this something scary? What is this that you're putting on
What do you
YouTube?
mean?
I don't know what it says.
This is the thing from the Tour de France where the woman got out and put the sign out.
It made the big damn crash. That was better than my underwear joke that I was making, that people are all wearing these ball pouch underwears.
I was trying to distract you to see if I could derail the whole podcast, and it worked.
It worked. A big crash to lead things off, episode 246. Welcome, everybody, to Take Two Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you have some semblance of what's going on. If you're just listening, subscribe to our YouTube. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us here at Take Two Podcast. We have a fun show for you guys today, episode 246. Ice Road, False Positive, Fatherhood, and a first take on Kevin Can Fuck Himself. All coming your way. We've got trailers, PodRec, casting, glass. That's right. Box office, poll results, DC, Marvel, Hollywood news. That would be every single segment that we do.
Everything. This is kind of a loaded show, and especially for the fact that we're not giving the review that we were hoping to do this week. We apologize, fans, if you're coming here to listen to our F9 review. It ain't happening. We just didn't get a chance to see it. You know, sometimes that happens. Life happens. We've been working our butts off lately, and we just didn't get a chance to go to the theater. Maybe by next weekend we'll have a take on it. We'll see. But, everything else is going to be here today. We're going to give you a big, loaded quality show.
Patreon members, thank you very much for joining our Patreon. Folks, if you're not on Patreon, it's patreon.com, Take Two Podcast. We would love to have you. You get a bonus, at least 2 episodes per month, merchandise, shout-outs, all sorts of fun things. Tony and I have been chatting off air about some more things we've got on the works headed your way. Join today. It's as low as $1, 4 different tier levels you can join. Hop on right now, patreon.com, Take Two Podcast. All of our socials across the board have been hot this week. I mean hot. We're having a lot of fun stuff. Actually, it was a really fun week just chit-chatting with everybody across the board at Take Two Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find us 2 Facebook pages, folks. Our regular Take Two Podcast on Facebook. Then we have a group page, Take Two Universe. That was a little bit more interactive. Not this week. I goofed that up. But a little more interactive where we chit-chat back and forth conversation, more fun stuff there. The universe, that's Take Two, the group page, Take Two Universe. Join there. Lastly, 434-602-1931. That's our hotline. You can text or leave a voicemail. The best thing about our phone number is you can't actually talk to a human. Let's think about that.
No, I won't ever answer it. I won't ever answer it, but I will answer the text messages, that's for sure.
Sure.
2 other things real quick. We did get a new episode of Realm this weekend, so check that out. Roy, of course, gave us our fill for the month of sci-fi and fantasy. A couple good reviews in there. He gives his take on Loki. You know, Sweet Tooth, he wrapped up a couple things like that. So that's always fun to give a listen to. And if you guys were looking for the latest Spotlight, it did get slightly delayed, but it will be coming soon to your ear holes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, man, let's rock and roll. I'm ready to rock if you are.
Yeah, let's get into it. We got a good box office this weekend to talk about.
We're the only ones that, sorry, I was going to say we're the only ones that didn't see this movie.
Yeah, really, it seems that way. So, the number 1 movie of the weekend is F9, the Fast Saga, Furious 9, whatever the hell you want to call it, Fast 9. Made $70 million. That's the estimate here. The biggest theater count, too, I think I've seen since the pandemic, 4,179 theaters.
Nice.
The one article I read said that they estimate 80% of the country's theaters are now reopened. So it's pretty good. I don't know how many of those are still doing restrictions on crowds and things like that, but that also plays into it. But 70 million, that's the biggest opening since Rise of Skywalker. So since 2019. Just blew it out of the water. Biggest opening. No more pandemic. It's over, baby. Put COVID to bed. Yeah.
Are we going to keep post-pandemic record?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I was listening to, actually this morning, Mark Maron released a podcast interview with Quentin Tarantino, and he was commenting on that. He was like, 2019 was like the last normal year. He's like, I don't know how long this is going to take till we get back to that, you know.
Sure.
And it was kind of an interesting point to make and to look at that. So, yeah, Fast 9, huge success. You know, we already kind of joked John Krasinski saved the box office. Well, now Vin Diesel came back and did it. So
she reminds me of my niece. Sorry. What movie is that quote from? Can anybody pull that? What movie that quote's from?
Nice. I'll let our listeners.
I know you know the answer. You don't answer. I know you know.
I'll let the listeners text me that. Over 16,000 per theater average. 16,750. That's pretty damn big. It has already made $335 million internationally. And the franchise now is the 5th biggest franchise of all time, $6.3 billion. That's pretty impressive. And we talked about it this week in the poll. We'll talk about it a little bit. That it's been 20 years since the original movie released. They've had basically 10 films, if you count Hobbs and Shaw as part of that. Pretty impressive run they've had. A couple other quick notes on Fast in particular. 5.5 million came from the IMAX alone, which is the most since Bad Boys for Life, so pre-pandemic.
Okay.
The interesting thing for me, and this is maybe a little conversation we can have, 59% Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, 84% for the public, though, and a B-plus cinema score. So critics are kind of hating on it, but it seems like the public are pretty positive. What are your thoughts there? Is that just like we're starved for content and people are just like, yes, a big movie. I've been waiting to see this for over a year and a half. Like, is that playing into this?
Yes.
I think so too. I think so too. Because I mean, I feel like we could have done a review of F9 and just lied about it and said we saw it. And they're like, yeah, there's a lot
I kind of thought about it.
Whatever, you know. Because it is what it is. And I've seen a lot of people who I trust their opinion and whatever actually put it near the bottom of their rankings of the series. And that was another reason why I was like, maybe I don't need to like go out of my way, because I probably could have went like last night, but I was falling asleep on the couch at 9 o'clock and I was like, nah, I'm not going to do this. So I do still kind of want to see it, but I'm sure it's not like top tier Fast and Furious or anything like that. So.
Yeah, as you say, I have yet to see a legit critic or people whose opinions we kind of respect, more sensible cinephiles give it a great review. So
no. It's been near the bottom of the pile, if anything, of the Fast movies. Yeah.
Sure. So that makes sense that the everyday moviegoer, though, the casuals, though, I got out of the house for the first time. Like they saw, okay, thanks, A Quiet Place. You showed me that I can go to the theater. I might not have, but you showed me that it's doable. Summer weather is now hitting. This is perfect timing. Perfect spot for them to finally go out and see it. And then they just went and had themselves a good time with it and came back and jumped on there and like, give that thing an 87%. I loved it.
Yeah.
Cool.
The weird thing is I didn't see in any of the reviews was nobody complained about not being able to see John Cena. I mean, he's in the movie, but you can't see him. So
joke will never die.
I always have to make that joke every time John Cena comes up on the show. All right, anyways, back to the box office. So number 2, Quiet Place 2, made another 6.2 million. It's at 136.4 domestically. It has another 112 overseas. So 250 roughly total. That's pretty damn nice. But in that same note, they said Fast 9 is approaching almost 500 already worldwide, and that'll be the first movie to do that since pre-pandemic, blah blah blah, of course. So yeah, Quiet Place has some decent legs there. I think it is coming up on that Paramount Plus date pretty soon. I think it was like maybe July 14th, July 17th, somewhere there. So maybe another 2 weeks for them where they could get some decent box office money, and then it'll be a home release, which I don't know still. Do like general public know that? Or is it just people who are like in the know and maybe listen to podcasts like this where we give them that information? But do you know, like, I'm going to wait because I know it's going to be on Paramount in 45 days. Is that well publicized?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like
it's think of an ad.
I mean, you shouldn't. If you're the company, you shouldn't.
Oh, no. If I'm Blunt or Krasinski, I'm like, don't put that out there. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. Because remember, we had reported that they were trying to sue for more money, thinking it wasn't going to do well because of that. So interesting. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard comes in at third with 4.9 million. It's at 25.9 domestic. Peter Rabbit, 28 domestic total, 4.85 for the weekend. 3 and 4 were very close this week. Peter Rabbit has made 79 million overseas. So it's made over 100 million already worldwide, which that's like a sleeper hit. We're not going to see it here, but people overseas love it for some reason. And then Cruella, 3.7, rounding out the top 5. 71.3 domestic. It's made 112 overseas, so getting close to that 200 mark as well. So a couple of these films are really doing pretty well. I feel like the box office is showing some strength. We'll talk about it with the going forward this week. I don't know if there's a huge release this week, but maybe that's just another week for Fast to make money.
Sure.
And then the week after that's Black Widow. So we're kind of waiting to see how that goes with the Disney Plus $30 release as well. Like, how's that going to go? Is Black Widow going to make upwards of 50, closer to 70 like Fast did? Who knows? Or will that affect it? That's a big argument going forward. So I love doing this every week. I hope you guys enjoy it too. I love really dissecting the numbers and looking at the trends and just the way it's changing. It's ever changing. So I'm glad we can bring it back.
Welcome back to those listeners who skipped ahead on the show notes who don't like listening us talking about the box office.
I don't like math. I don't like numbers.
It is important, though, and we already had this discussion last week about how important the numbers actually are that we report on, because they do factor. The only thing to that conversation, to what Tarantino was saying, 2019 will be the last year of that, because so many studios have already pot committed to the rest of their release schedules. We're going to talk about in Trailer Talk how many of these many trailers we're talking about are going to streaming day and date, a couple months down the road, etc. And that's the box office will forever be changed. You know what I mean? Endgame will never lose opening weekend. $300 million opening weekend, it'll never lose that.
I don't know. I think this is a change, but I wonder 2022 even if we're already going to be like that much back to normal, you know? Mm-hmm. Somewhat normal. Like we've already got stuff scheduled for this year. Sure, this year's almost like a wash in the way it's weird. And we talked off air, like most of the big releases aren't even hitting until at least October. Like the studios are very hesitant to even put stuff out still. But maybe next year, you know? I think the biggest effect is going to be budget. I hope that we see a renaissance of smaller budgeted films in that mid-level movie. There was a lot of that in the 90s, even the early 2000s, and then it kind of went away, and it just became all sequels and superheroes, and I want that back. I want that mid-budget movie back, you know, and I hope that gets a little
we'll talk about in trailer. A couple of those we'll talk about in trailers
too
as well. Stick around for that trailer segment. Okay, there you go, folks. There's your box office results. Every Thursday, we drop a poll for you guys to vote upon, and this week was a good one, a very poignant, timely one for the big release of the weekend. Tony, let's jump on those poll results.
Yeah, just talking about the Fast series, Fast and Furious, F9, and I said, what is your kind of MVP character, your favorite character of the series? I say it every week. Twitter limits me to 4. The 4 I chose were Dom, played by Vin Diesel, Brian, R.I.P., Paul Walker, Letty, Michelle Rodriguez, and Hobbs by The Rock. Surprising on Twitter to me, the winner was Brian, Paul Walker, 41%. A pretty big showing for Paul Walker. People were coming out and showing their love for him. You know, if I see you again. It was like the end of Fast 7 again, where we got to sing that song and pay tribute to him. So that was good. Letty got the short end of the stick with only 7% of the vote. And then Dom and Hobbs equal, 26%.
Wow.
Which, I don't know, my way of thinking of it is I think The Rock is the MVP because I think he really did bring it back, and the best movies were when he came into the series.
Sure.
Because the first movie was great, but then Vin Diesel kind of left. And part 2, part 3 were a little and like awkward. 4, they tried to bring it back with Vin Diesel. It still wasn't quite there. It didn't really get off its legs and become what it is today until the 5th movie, I think. Or 6th.
Sure.
No, 5th movie. 5, 6, and 7 when you have The Rock in there. And I think those are the best 3. So for me, it's The Rock. That's what my choice was. What about you?
Yeah, I gave it to Diesel just because he's like OG. I honestly didn't even think about Paul Walker in the voting. I was just like, I could see Letty, I could see The Rock. Obviously revolutionized it, or revitalized, I should say. But I don't know. I just gave it to Diesel just because he was the mainstay. He, to me, should be the face of it. But interesting, very interesting.
You also didn't think of Paul Walker because he eats tuna, no crust. That was his sandwich of choice in the first movie. And I wonder how he feels about that Subway news now. Like, there's no tuna.
There's no tuna in their tuna. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a shame for him. Anyways, other shout-outs. Let's stick with Twitter. We had MDXPod. They said Tej, who's played by Ludacris. And Ludacris got a little love. A couple other people mentioned Ludacris. I was surprised because he isn't kind of the main core cast for me. He's there in every movie since part 2. Sure. But they got some love with him just for his hacking skills and whatever and how important he can be.
Red pajama.
Yeah. The son of Krypton, he reached out and said he doesn't understand the appeal of this franchise. And
I agree with you, son of Krypton, but anyway.
Well, and then I sent him a very smarmy response with Superman, because he is the son of Krypton. And I said, well, I feel like you can make that same argument for maybe superhero movies. Maybe not everyone understands the appeal of that either. Like, not everything is for everybody, and some people really get into other things other than others. So, and then Steve from Everything I Love from Movies, he shouted out Hobbs. I'm with you, Steve. So thanks for your comment. Got a lot of talk over on Instagram. Dave from Super Movie Brothers, he shouted out Letty and said that she was the most important. So that was impressive. Shy, I got to disagree. He said Jordana Brewster, and I was like, really? Jordana Brewster? Like, now that's a character I did not even think about when making this list. Like, that would have been below Tyrese.
Hasn't she only been in like 3 of them? Like, did she leave after the first one?
She left.
Derek Jeter for a long time.
Yeah, she's been in and out a little bit. I don't know. Whatever.
Derek Jeter.
I guess in the new one, she kind of maybe plays a little bit more of an important role.
Yeah, I was seeing in some reviews that she was great in this.
Maybe I'm wrong. I just didn't think that she's
No, I
in
wouldn't have. I wouldn't have listed her top 7 either. I wouldn't have even
yeah.
thought of that. Yeah.
Sam said Fast Five, and I said okay. I just want to know who's the most important character, and I asked him as like a follow up, but he never got back to me. So
Ah,
if you got a favorite character, Sam, let us know that. I mean, I agree,
sounds,
Fast Five is the best movie.
sounds like a vote
You
for
know,
The Rock to me.
yeah, possibly. Chris shouted out Dom. He said hashtag family. Bart shouted out The Rock, said that he saved the franchise. I agree. We just talked about that. However, he's not in this new one, so
Mm.
still made some money without him. So we'll see. Katz gave a long answer of Han, Gal Gadot, and then Ludacris were his favorites. So, but
Okay.
he said out of the ones that we listed, he would say The Rock and then Vin Diesel. So,
I think Katz just wanted to list 6 names you didn't list just to annoy you.
yeah, probably. But he agreed with our sentiment of The Rock kind of brought the series out of the hump and got it going. So, yeah, interesting, good discussion, lots of good comments. Thank you to everybody for voting. Every Thursday, I'll try and get a poll up for you. And yeah, thanks as always for commenting along. Especially, I love the comments. I love getting into that, and it lets us discuss more than just like this is the number, this is the vote. Like I like the discussion, the back and forth.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. All right, folks, you ready for these reviews? Because we've got 4 of them coming at you. First, we're going to lead off with Ice Road. Okay, so that's our review of Ice Road. Now we're going to move along.
Let me start off with the Ice Road because this was one of those ones where I think we talked off air and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it. Wasn't getting great reviews, and I was like, do we really want to do this? And it just happened. I had time where I was kind of chilling out, wanted to relax for a little bit, and I was like, let me just put this on. It's mindless. It's stupid. I know that going into it. I even put on the 1.5 speed because I was like, this is going to get through it nice and quick. This is, if you don't know what Ice Road is, this is the new movie on Netflix with Liam Neeson and Lawrence Fishburne, I guess, kind of, and then a couple other people. Holt McCallany, I really like him. He's almost in like a separate movie, whatever.
A couple other people.
I'll get to them. I have some points on some of the other.
Fine. Go ahead.
And it's basically Ice Road Truckers. If you ever watch Ice Road Truckers, that reality show, which I thought that reality show was kind of decent and kind of interesting. It's that premise and then put into a movie where it's almost like heisty in a way or something like that. You know, there's some chase scenes, whatever, big action. This movie sucked, man. This movie sucked. I sat down and started it. I was done. In the first like 10 minutes, I was out. This is the worst CGI I think I've seen in a long time in like a major release film. I couldn't believe how bad the CGI was. Like there was a sequence very early on with like explosions, I think. And I was like, what? Like I feel like I could have done better with no knowledge or talent whatsoever. Awful. The script is god awful. Storyline is super predictable. Cheesy dialogue out the ass. Just I wrote down numerous ones. We can go through them if you want. There's a nice like retard joke right off the top, which is always fun. Like, do adults act that way? Have you ever been in a scenario where adults are surrounding another person and they're like, "We got you lunch. We got your lunch, retard." Like, that does not happen. And I'm not using that as I don't like to use that word, but
You're quoting it, yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me? This movie, what is this? How did this get past anybody?
Sure.
Netflix paid $18 million to get it on their service. Like, it was like a high bidding thing to get this movie. And so I wrote a little letterbox review afterwards because I was so incensed by what I'd watched. I felt like I'd never been so angry and like offended by watching a movie in a while. So I was like, I got to put this down, my thoughts. And yeah, I don't know why I don't learn my lesson because Liam Neeson's made like 10 of these movies now in the last 10 years. This is what he does. Taken 1 through 4 or 5, however many he made, and then it's like Taken on a train, Taken on this, what is it, the commuter, the whatever. Yeah. It's the same shit, man. I guess if you like this, that's cool, good for you, and it is stupid action. You know, I give him some props, I guess. He's 69 years old. He's still running around. He's getting in fight scenes, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I think overall this movie sucked really badly. What about you?
I'm curious if there is someone out here who like thoroughly enjoyed this, not in a I just turned my brain off and enjoyed way. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it for A, B, and C. I would love to hear from you and have a spirited, honest discussion. I was very much on the fence. We already talked about this, the exact same. I did have an opening, but I was thinking maybe I could watch a bunch of TikTok videos instead. But then I saw that you letterbox it, and I was like, that mother effer. Now I have to watch it. So I did. I did the 1.25 speed. I will tell you one thing with the speed up that you can do on Netflix. It negates acting. or
It does.
performance.
Like if there's any subtleties or pauses, it does. Yeah.
So some of the dialogue I was picking up on, and I kept giving it a pass. I was like, well, I'm watching it fast. Well, I'm watching it
Okay.
fast. Maybe
Fair
he just
enough. Fair
delivered the.
enough.
But looking back on it, no, it was that script. It was that dialogue. Maybe not so much the delivery, but it was definitely the dialogue written into the script. There's 1,000 things in here that is the things with the brother, and is there an emotion there? And then the girl, but then she has the brother, but then we're going to accuse
And
her.
none of that hit, right? None of that emotion of the brother or her brother, none of it worked for me at all. I didn't
Sure.
feel anything for any of these characters, and that's a huge problem.
My question is, what the hell did the agent say to Lawrence Fishburne of, we're going to put you in North Dakota, surrounded by snow, you're going to be freezing your stuff off. Don't worry, you're not in a lot of the movie. We'll say you're not in as many scenes.
Spoiler alert, I guess. Yeah.
You're not in a lot of scenes. You can say that without it, right? So, so Neeson, that's done. Anyone that questions why he does his movies, he has been on record many times as saying he loves that paycheck. So that's questions out the door. And I don't mean that to discredit him as an actor. The guy's that's what cracks me up. I watched this next to a coworker of ours, and I was like, the guy's from Gangs of New York. He was Guy Jin. He, even the first Taken,
Schindler's List.
Yes.
Schindler's freaking List.
Right.
How are you doing this now? Good
Right.
Lord.
It's like there's two Liam Neesons. We should do two spotlights.
Yes.
Like a Liam Neeson that's like
just
an
the
incredible,
paycheck.
Yes, paycheck
It's
Neeson.
Liam Neeson after he started hunting black men in the street. How does he still have a career after coming out and saying that?
That's true. That's actually valid. That's true. Maybe it's because these are the only films that he can book. There's nothing to say. This movie, I mean, this stuff with the road and like it starts cracking at them. It sinks an 18-wheeler. Sinks it like that.
And they're standing right next to it still.
Feet away. And they watch it crack. First of all,
wait a minute.
watch it get crack up to you.
Let me quote the movie, because that's 107 meters away. Oh, that's over a mile. Good Lord, this is the worst script ever. We have to go. There's no time. No time to cut a rope? I just saw you cut a rope like this in like 1 second. How is there no time to just do it with the next truck?
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
And I'm sorry. And listen, anytime I drive to D.C., if a freaking Civic is turned sideways on the side of the road, it backs up traffic for miles. There's no way that two trucks and one truck lifts the other truck. And they did that in like 11 minutes. I was like, where are you boys? You guys need to go to some major city. You can clear up traffic like that. The way they just flip up and it's back on its wheels. We're good to go. I talked to a friend of ours who's a big car guy, coworker of ours, has the same haircut as me, to let you know who I'm talking about. He was furious at it's running out of gas, but then they just put a 5-gallon bucket like you have in the back of your car that you get at Shell, and then they're good the rest of the movie. Yeah. They made it the rest of the movie on that 5-gallon little bucket that you filled your lawnmower with at the same time. He was like, that's not realistic. And I was like, that's the part.
And then they made it right on time, which that scene was bad too, because they're like, I guess we ran out of time. What's that noise? Oh, that's our emergency klaxon. So bad. Truck. Where in the world, I know in the U.S. you can't have that many letters on your license plate. How do you get 9 letters on a license plate? Truck. Oh, it's always 7, isn't it?
7.
Like,
yeah.
That's so stupid. That's so simple. Why would you do this to this movie? Liam Neeson's one big moment. They wanted us to fail, and I didn't see it. It's not about money now. It's personal. Like, oh, really? Like, come on, man. So bad. I hated this movie so much. The bad guy twist was ridiculous. We all saw that coming. And like the corporate side of it was kind of like, oh, okay. And like I said, it's almost like a different movie. So like Holt McCallany, those characters that are in the mine, that are trapped in the mine begin, like have nothing to do. Like the Liam Neeson, like there's barely a little bit of reconciliation where those groups come together at the end. But I was like, this is like I'm watching a different movie. When anytime you went to the other people. And I felt like Liam Neeson and even Larry Fishburne were like really miscast in these roles. Like Liam Neeson doesn't seem believable as that character to me. And then he's driving around listening to his old country, cover songs, and I'm like, this dude's like an old Irish dude. Like this isn't believable to me.
He even says "Kiss My Irish Ass" at one point. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I will say Amber Midthunder is probably the best cast for her role.
Sure.
A little unbelievable that she was able to just jump into this truck and do this, and I didn't feel like they gave her like the credit of like where she had this talent all of a sudden to do that. But whatever. What else did I have here? Oh, she had a scene that bothered me. She shoots at the guy who's like the bad guy, and then says, "Don't think I won't use this on you." Why would I think that? You just shot at me. Oh my gosh! What else? Oh, when the spoiler alert again, if you care about this movie, when Liam Neeson's brother is dead at the end of the movie, and they have him on the gurney and they're bringing him away, and then they're like, "Sir, we found this on your brother." It's like a fucking brochure, like crumpled up.
Yes. I was like, who's going through his pockets right now? Where did you find it on him?
Why would you care? It's not like it's some family heirloom. It's a crumpled up brochure.
Yeah.
I hope to God if I die, nobody's like, oh, he's got an old schedule from work in his pocket. Here, you need this. Like, so stupid. Oh, man. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. This movie sucks. I hope someone liked it. Please reach out and tell me why, because I thought it was very, very predictable, cheesy, terrible script, terrible CGI. Because there was multiple bad CGI moments. Yeah. And I guess I don't blame them, because how do you film this practically?
Sure.
It would be even more of a budget, putting these cars in ice and, sending them underwater. I guess that would inflate your budget too much. But, yeah, stay away from the ice road. Even at fast speed, it's not worth it.
All right, let's move along. You get to watch False Positive. I did not. Tell me some things.
I did, actually, and one more thing before we move on. There was one more thing that bothered me. The one moment early in the movie where they tried to, make a quick statement about, veterans and being prescribed opioids. I was like, what? Why is this in here? Now this is a message movie? What are we doing? All over the place.
The brother was in the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so let's move on. False positive.
But then later he comes back around and yells at him. He's like, why do we keep getting fired? Not because of me. Or not, whatever, sorry.
Truck, let's move on. False Positive is the new movie on Hulu. This is trying to be a updated kind of spiritual co-movie of Rosemary's Baby. It's not exactly the same beats as Rosemary's Baby, but very much that same feel of this couple. They're trying to have a baby. They can't. They go and do IVF, and hilarity ensues. Starring Ilana Glazer, Justin Theroux, Pierce Brosnan, Gretchen Mol, Sophia Bush, Josh Hamilton, some pretty decent names in here. I was looking forward to this one quite a bit, actually. It definitely has those vibes, and I will say there's some good kind of camera shots and interesting things that they do, tricks of the camera, to make you see things or to get into her mindset of, what's going on with me with this baby and whatever. It's very subtle horror. It's you could get by with this just fine. There's blood in it and stuff, but it's not like a real horror movie,
Gotcha.
Okay. I felt like there was good writing. It was a little slow, but there were some twists in there that I appreciated. There was a weird kind of Peter Pan allegory that they stuck with throughout the movie that I didn't really quite get, and it didn't quite work for me. That was a choice, I guess, that was made by the writer or whatever. I don't know. I didn't understand it. Still at the end, I'm like, why do that? Why it didn't pay off? And I will say, for the most part, I enjoyed this movie until the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes, it goes off the rail. I don't even know what it becomes a different movie for the last 10 minutes, and I was like, I didn't see this coming, and I didn't really love it. Didn't really enjoy what they did with it. So the build-up of it, the tension of it, getting through the story of it was great, I thought, and I enjoyed everyone's performances up to that point, and then just the last 10 minutes lost me. So I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. It's just right down the middle for me. It's okay, whatever. I don't know why it's called False Positive, to be honest, because that isn't a thing in the movie. They're getting pregnant through IVF, so what does False Positive have to do with anything? I didn't get the title reference, but maybe I'm stupid, I don't know. But Pierce Brosnan was pretty cool.
Ice Road was taken, so.
Yeah. Pierce Brosnan was pretty cool in this, though, I will say, because he kind of plays an interesting character in this movie.
I thought he got that big white beard.
His character goes places in the movie, and I like it. Okay. Ilana Glazer, I was impressed with. I really haven't seen her do much acting. She's more of comedian, sketch comedy kind of stuff. So it's a shame, because I feel like this movie had about 90% of a good movie, and then I really think the ending kind of ruined it for me. So, I would like to hear from anybody else who watched it. I think Gerald might have watched it. He also kind of was with me, I think, in line as far as the review there. But anybody else who has different thoughts on it, liked it, loved it, whatever, let me know why or how, and hopefully you checked it out on Hulu this weekend.
Beautiful. Okay, on Netflix, it came out actually last weekend, back Father's Day weekend, was Fatherhood. We talked about this in Trailer Talk not too long ago. This is starring Kevin Hart, Lil Rel Howery, Alfre Woodard. Let me premise, And a lot of people will do this in their own. I was a single dad for 4 years, just me and Lucy for a while. And so I'm familiar with the struggles that a single dad can go through, or any single parent to that degree. This movie hits strong to anyone who went through that. And I don't mean to say went through that as if it was like a big bad struggle or whatever. For some folks it is. For some folks it's not as bad. This movie, it hits all the beats that happened to me personally. Lots of moments that happened to me even personally. So I enjoyed this film. I've now tried to take a step back and go, all right, let me look at it just through an overall lens and try and take a peek at it. So thank you, Kevin Hart, Lil Ray, you guys who made this, because personally this movie did hit. There were many moments in there where I was just thinking of that time that I had alone with my daughter, things like that, and very positively, and they reflected on many things, not only the way that Kevin Hart's character goes through this, but the way that the kid goes through it and the support systems. Movies about Kevin Hart, his wife passes away giving birth to their daughter, and he decides, I'm going to do it. Everyone tells him you can't do it. He decides to go through with it. I want my daughter. I'm going to stay part of her life. Kevin Hart in this is a big step for him. This is a nice step. We've been seeing it. We've been seeing little ones where he can't do that cheeseball comedy for forever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've always said with Kevin Hart, he had that little niche style of comedy, which he did so well. And he pumped out about 3 good specials and did a whole stadium tour and owned it. And that's great. And then we've hit that spot where it's like, all right, that's, since it was nichey, it's kind of done. What can you give me next? This is a great step in what's next. He gives you drama. He gives you some passion. There's some emotional scenes, some anger scenes. And then, of course, you get the Kevin Hart style comedy where he's, flipping out and he's screaming, and he does a couple of things where he goes into like a mom support group. And he's like, I got pooped on, and then the poop was on my shirt. I had the poop on my shirt. Then I got pooped on again. I was trying to change the diaper, and then I put the diaper away, but I still had poop on my shirt. Like, he still does that comedy in it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm very positive on this. I even if I wasn't a single dad, I think I still would have reflected positively on it. I only recommend it to people maybe that were single parents or are parents and kind of want to like go down that road.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie. It's nothing like to go rushing out to see. And Hart's not giving like one of those performances like, oh my God, former comedian, now he's super dramatic. It was just good. It was really good.
Yeah, I was on the fence about that one last week because I almost watched it while you were gone just to have something to talk about on the show, and then I was like, it didn't work out for me where I had the time or the desire to watch it. But I'm glad to see that he is growing. I never watched the one with him and Breaking Bad.
Yeah, and I did, and that was good as well. I did very similar. He gave some drama there. He gave some anger there. It seems like this might now be his lane, where he can bring it down to dramatic. Give you like an angry scene where he's mad and blah, 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 emotional. But then he keeps his comedy flowing and keep you entertained.
Well, good. Because, he's had a very interesting career. Like you said, the good stand-up stuff, but then to go through the stuff of like that car accident that he almost died in.
Right.
And then to go through the Oscar thing where it was like he was almost canceled for a minute. Sure. And to bounce back and do this stuff. Like, I'm glad for him, and I hope that he keeps going down this path. Similar to like a Jim Carrey or Adam Sandler, where you can do these kind of one-off drama things and show that you can act, but still do your comedy stuff and let it pay off. I like that. So good for him. I hope he keeps going with his career. We have one more review today, and that's all you, buddy. A first take on Kevin Could Fuck Himself. I haven't had a chance to catch up on this yet. I know it stars one of your favorites from the old Schitt's Creek. So what'd you think?
Yeah, Andy Murphy's in this. This is, you do this too. You watch something, you love it. Now you wonder what are these actors going to do next. Type thing. Are we always pigeonholed on this series or not? Andy Murphy of the Schitt's Creekers is definitely one who can then just project her career. Everyone will always know Dan Levy from Schitt's, and Eugene Levy already had his own career. But, when you see Dan Levy, you're just going to know that he owned it, he was fantastic. And he'll have a fine career, too. But I feel that Andy Murphy probably is the one that can just, boom, starlight out of this thing.
And didn't she have, like, an interesting story, too, where she almost didn't get Schitt's, was, like, going to give up? Wasn't she one of those people?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And then she actually auditioned for a different character.
Yeah.
She gave me an audition, so, yeah, 100%. I want you to watch this. Mm-hmm. She's married to this guy. First of all, this is a straight up Boston show. It's nothing but Boston. They talk about the Sox and all that the whole time.
So you love it?
Yeah, every bit of it. I'm pretty sure it opens up in like the first 4 minutes with a Yankee suck chant, whatever.
I actually caught like the beginning of it, and I think I was talking to you off air how it starts out very trite and what you expect from a sitcom. Right. Yep. And then it twists from there, right?
Yeah, so it's sitcom-y whenever the husband and his brother are on scene. Then whenever it's just Andy Murphy's character by herself, boom, it flips. And everything gets dark. And it's almost like you almost wonder if she's in a sitcom, but she's not. you're just realizing that her mindset when she's alone and not a part of that completely sours and completely goes into this dark place.
Yeah.
It's very unique, man. It's very kind of edgy. Is it great? No. But I think there's an opportunity here by the end of it for it to wrap around. She starts fantasizing about killing him, so there's some fun scenes of her killing him, stuff like that.
Now I'm in, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I should have led with the blood. And then there's some unique kind of comedy in there where she's trying to figure things out. You can definitely tell there is a lot of like, just because I'm pretty doesn't mean I'm not smart in there, where it's like we're going to find out that there's more to her in life and more. I'm interested. I'm too deep. I like it so far. I like Annie Murphy. It's fun now. You know, I had her on Schitt's Creek and now doing a Boston accent. It's just, you know, and she's from Canada, so, you know, she's a good actress giving us different accents. The most unbelievable thing to me, though, is that she married the husband.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just based off of looks. Superficially, it's like, why?
Sure.
Why does
but
she
I think that's also, I think that also plays into the show and the idea of the show. I think it's very much a commentary on sitcoms of the past, and hey, what's the wife doing when she's not doting on the husband? Because that's all those shows were in the 50s and 60s. So now this is giving you that look into, you know, this trophy wife who was doing everything for this schlub of a husband. What's her life outside of that? And that's really unique. And I've been excited for the show when we first announced it and saw the casting of it. So I will try and catch up with it, and then hopefully we'll have a final take on it once we watch the whole series.
They are ours, I will tell you that.
Do we know how many episodes it'll be?
8 total.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. And this is on AMC, right?
Yes, sir. August 1st it wraps up, so we'll have the it's Sunday nights though, so it might be a week before we give you the full review on that one, folks. But somewhere the first, second week of August. That is it, guys. Those are 3 reviews and a first take. We're going to take a quick breather and be right back. All right, guys. Tony won't do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to let you guys know that we're breaking records up in this piece. Okay, 20-year-long records. These are records that have stood for 20 years. Okay. And when parents can brag about their kids, they're going to do it. Tony's kids are dominating the lanes. Swimming, phenoms. Screw you, state of Maryland. Virginia is for swimmers. These kids are taking over. Congrats to your kids, man. They're kicking some butt over there in the waters.
Yeah, they've had a couple good weeks, couple good meets so far, and yeah, it was very impressive today to get that news that my daughter broke a record from 20 years ago. That's awesome. So very proud of them. Thank you for bringing that up. So.
All right, let's rock into some trivia.
All right, now I just realized this, and you kind of had me adjust this segment before we started, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why, but now I think I know why, because there's 10 trailers today, so we want to talk about all 10 of them.
You know, it's funny.
Was that your intention or no?
Well, it is now, but I'm thinking another one we're going to talk about also should have been moved.
Oh, okay. Well.
We moved to Marvel.
Make it 9.
But now that I'm looking, I'm like, wait, we did one, but not the other.
Well, that's fine. So why don't we move that, since we're talking about it right now? Who cares? This is the middle of our show. Yeah. We'll move it. So anyways, there's 9. There's 9.
All right. Let
me start off with the first one that I think might have shared on, at least personally, that I shared on our podcast this week. I was super excited for The Harder They Fall. I've been excited about this project for a while when we saw the cast and all that kind of coming together. Now we finally get a look at it. It's coming to Netflix later this year, so you know they're excited about it if they're showing us already. I think it looks fantastic. Regina King, Idris Elba. Oh, man.
Words out of my mouth with how they promoted. We talk about that all the time on our show. Netflix drops a trailer 5 days before the show. You know, that's like their shtick. They don't put trailers out like way out. They've got something here. They know they've got something here. They're promoting it now. It doesn't come out until the fall. It looks freaking amazing. I was in love with every part of it. Elbow walking through the train and all the dudes are shooting. He's just like putting his hat on real slow-mo. Everything's I was like, fuck yes, I'm in. And the loaded freaking cast. Loaded on top of them.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors, he's in here. Yeah, like, it looks amazing. I cannot wait. I'm guessing this is going to be a Q4 kind of release, like October, November maybe. Yeah. And maybe they must think it's like an Oscar-y push kind of thing at that point if they're doing that. So awesome. I can't wait to see what they got for us. Speaking of Oscar-y type movies, Coda. Coda was a huge hit at Sundance. Probably one of the only movies I really heard a lot of people talking about, and Apple went out of their way to buy the rights to it. They were really thinking they had something on their hands here. This is getting released in August. I think this looks phenomenal. I was actually very touched by the trailer. Like, it's something if I can get emotional in like a 2 to 3 minute trailer like that. And I was like, damn, if this is going to be a Best Picture nominee, I feel it already.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when it was over. I was like, shit, this movie's going to make me cry. Yeah, it looks very touching. The girl, her sings or whatever. Her family's deaf, and
Yeah.
now she wants to pursue this life without them, so to speak. She's being held back because she needs to help them in society, but she
Mhm.
probably could be a professional singer, etc. I'm all about it, brother. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I forgot to look up her name, but I want to say she really hasn't done much before this either. So this is kind of like her coming out. But you got Marlee Matlin in here, who former Oscar winner, and she was already like big, like doing press and stuff for this movie in Sundance. So people love her. She's going to come out for the Oscars and big like promote this movie. I think this is going to be a big Oscar movie. I really do.
August
And we've
13th.
joked about it before, like. Netflix can't win a Best Picture. Will Apple beat them with Coda? Something like
That's
that.
right.
That would be impressive. So.
Oh,
Probably the movie I was most excited for this week when we got the trailer drop.
no.
Halloween Kills,
Oh,
baby. Halloween Kills. Oh
I
my
thought you were going to say
God.
the other scary one. I was going to be so mad at you if you said the other
No, no,
scary one.
no, no. Halloween Kills. October 15th, I believe. I cannot wait to get to October. I will be ass in the seat as soon as I can to see this. It looks phenomenal. I almost wish they didn't show us so much. That's my only complaint. They gave you a lot. This is a very brutal trailer.
Yeah. When the fireman's in there and he's like, "Give me your hand, give me your hand." I was like, "Fuck, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes." I was just getting excited for that. I love I love the posters. This is the trailer of like the half face like
Yeah.
burned off. It looks awesome. It looks fantastic. It looks like a great way for them to continue the freaking storyline.
And I love that. I love just continuing part two of like right where we left off. The girls are in the back of the truck watching the fire department
Yelling at the
responding. Like,
firefighters like,
let
"No,
it
don't!"
burn. Yeah, give me that movie. That's awesome because every other chapter has been like, oh, we're gonna spin this off into like 2 or 3 movies of their own thing, and then this is gonna be its own thing. Like, I love this continuation, and obviously they have a plan because then there's gonna be a part 3, and hopefully that'll be the end of the series and let it live, let it lie for a little bit after that. I hope, but. This one looks phenomenal. There was a reference to Halloween 3 in the trailer, which I loved because everyone hates Halloween 3. It's not Michael Myers, it's not part of the canon, whatever. So they were like, "Fuck you, we're putting part of that movie in here," and I love that. Did you catch it? You probably didn't.
No.
The
I don't even know
masks.
if I've seen. Yeah.
The kids that are on the thing dead and they all have the different masks on. That's the whole crux of the third movie that isn't a Michael Myers movie.
Yeah.
It's called Season of the Witch, Halloween 3, and it's all these kids put on these masks and they watch the commercial on TV and it does stuff to them and then they like inside their mask their like head like melts away or whatever, and that's a big part of the movie. So I was like, that's so cool that they brought the masks back from that and put it in here though. So
Good to know. Okay.
I'll stick with the scary stuff. Candyman. We got another look at Candyman. We got one like last year when they were talking about releasing it earlier.
Yeah.
This is probably a better trailer, I will say. I think
it is a better trailer, I think.
it made me more intrigued in the movie for sure. And I wonder because a friend of ours said that there were already test screenings like last year and that they weren't good, that there was some press on it that they weren't good. So I'm wondering if they have like reworked the movie a little bit and this trailer does look better. So maybe it'll be all right. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we open up with like a police brutality angle on this. Like we're adding like some real life scenarios to how these things came about. I was like, oh, all right. I mean, very Jordan Peele, nuanced. I will 100%. That last trailer, I was like, well, I don't like horror movies anyway. I'm good to go on being out on this one. No, this one actually has me intrigued. I was like, oh, okay. The one, and I didn't realize still like
Candyman had that like social kind of angle to it as well, and racism and things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, they're kind of updating it, and making it a little more modern, like you said. And Nia DaCosta, the director, I watched her movie Little Woods, and I was like, okay, she's pretty good. I see why she's getting this, and now I think she's also doing Captain Marvel too. So it's like there's a lot of faith in her in Hollywood. So hopefully this pays off.
Rock and roll.
Anything else on the Candyman?
No. It has my interest. Can you just accept that? It has that.
I'm happy. All right. Butts on 3. Go ahead. This was yours.
Yeah.
July 23rd.
Lead Tasso. All right. I'm in. It looks great. It looked to me, I was thinking like, I bet they put this out there, tried to see if it was going to fly season 1. Huge success. Now they're like, all right, let's dig a little deeper into these characters. Let's get the characters a little more heart, a little more grit to them, and then but still keep the same comedy. So I'm looking forward to maybe a little more substance out of this year on top of the comedy as well.
I mean, you were definitely bigger on it than I was. I was late to it, but I did enjoy it. And I got to say, once I saw season 2, the trailer, I was like, okay, you got my curiosity here. I'm ready for season 2. So
July 23rd.
Yeah. One thing I am looking forward to, another one that was too long of a trailer, in my opinion, but I'm excited for, is Sing 2, coming right before Christmas.
Tippy toe, tippy toe, tippy toe, tippy toe.
I love the first Sing. We talked about it before. It was a great movie. Family loved it. I think it kind of flew under a lot of people's radar, but it's a good one. As far as the last decade of animated movies, I think it's up there as one of the better ones.
Yes.
And this one looks to really expand that story and go a different place, because it's like, what else can you do when you've done your whole first movie was predicated on a singing competition?
Sure.
I think that's why it took them so long to make a sequel, because they're like, well, where can we go? We love these characters, but what can we do with it?
Right.
And this is where we're going, and I'm in. I think it looks good. Returning voice cast all there, I think. Looks fun.
Loaded cast. Looked absolutely a lot of fun. I'm in on what they're doing. They're going to Vegas. I know it's not called Vegas, but like a bigger competition. They're trying to pull out the previous dude who's a legend or whatever. I don't know. And the voice cast looks like they're going to go next level, kind of go their own directions, and then come back together. I'm in. But like you said, Sing is one of the better and definitely one of the more underseen animated films of the last 10 years. It's good. If nobody's seen it, go watch it.
Now, one of the underrated, on purpose, I guess, trailers of this week for me was Turner and Hooch, Disney Plus. What do you think about Turner and Hooch, Disney Plus?
They definitely tried to switch it up a little bit. Like, they give him a doggy, which to me, I was automatically like, time out. Don't they know his job? Don't they know, like, he's a busy guy? Like, I get it. They want to they think he's lonely, but the guy's busy. Why are you giving him a dog? Anyway, I was mad at that from the start. I'm probably going to watch.
July 23rd, right? Disney Plus. I'm moderately interested to see what they do with it. I would love to see the Tom Hanks thing.
Oh, if he shows up just once.
Just once. That's all we need, right? That would be amazing. But this doesn't look great to me. All right, Annette, coming August 20th, and this is with Adam Driver. What did you think about this? This looks really interesting, kind of strange. Yeah. I don't know if I'm in.
Yeah, I'm curious. This was that small movie I was talking about, or the indie movie feel. It opened up kind of like something simple, neat, but then we started taking some twisty turns. I don't know who Adam Driver is with in this. I don't know their scenario. He's singing. I'm curious what this is even about. But you've got some good names, some good actors at the very least.
Sure. It does look a little strange, though. And then lastly, because we're going to move number 10 over to a different segment, we got another look at Snake Eyes. And I got to say, I'm more in on this. I liked that first trailer, but I think the second trailer continued to kind of build the story, gave us a couple more characters. I'm really excited for this movie. I think it looks good.
I was not in after trailer 1, to be honest with you. I just thought, okay. Yeah, I wasn't against it. I was like, okay, disagree now. Now you've given me a better trailer. Now I'm more interested. You're seeing it's more origin story, and like it tells me, okay, this is origin story. This is how the guy's learning it. I'm curious about the forced comedy. We already had like one forced comedy joke in there. Yeah. Okay, that has to happen. So hopefully it's a little more smooth throughout the rest of it. But I'm definitely in on this. The ninja, he could be the ultimate warrior if he passes these 3 tests. Oh, now you have my attention. Okie dokie.
Yeah. And I'm
by the way, they
interested
got to fight the Cobra.
Yeah, and I'm interested for the setup of, like, we have similar properties now. The Snake Eyes, the Shang-Chi. I feel like they're almost going for, like, the same feel and look. So that could be interesting to see how that plays out. But and we don't usually talk about, second trailers. Thanks for sticking with us for this longer segment today. But we only talk about second trailers if it sways us in that way, if it's something different completely, and we're like, oh, this changed my idea on this movie. So there you go. There's 9 trailers right now. We're going to talk about a couple other ones later. But right now, you have something else to recommend to us.
All right, time for this PodRec of the week. A pal of ours on the old Take-Two Universe group page, Eric, he started up his own podcast a little while ago. Okay. We've chatted with him about it. He actually picked our brains a little bit on how to do a podcast. Should have responded with ask somebody else, but either way, he got it from us. Bought some mics, he and a buddy, and they've been doing the Break Fix Pod. This is a grand touring Motifix podcast. They talk about cars, Grand Touring, GT car, all that kind of stuff out of my league. But they asked me to be on it recently. We did a little best car movie, car chases, stuff like that, and it was their 50th episode ever. So, Break Fix Pod. Check them out if you're into automotive stuff at all. And then they go off the beaten path a little bit, where they'll have some episodes where they talk about like cars and movies and things to that nature. I know he's also crossed over recently with Steve from Everything I Learned from Movies. And they got a little thing working together too, so I'm looking forward to that. But for now, subscribe and check out Break Fix Pod if you're interested.
Good. That's awesome to hear that they kind of were inspired by us in a way to start off their show. And that's cool. And doing their own thing. And they're putting a little different spin on something. So I like that. I'll have to check out your episode. I didn't have a chance yet.
I'm waiting for the not the commission, but like the referral. Like, do other pods get referrals since we like help them?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to start that.
All right, here we go with an absolutely loaded casting couch.
Yeah, man. Let's start off with Andrew Garfield. He's been in a lot of news lately. He's going to be heading a show called Under the Banner of Heaven, him and Daisy Edgar Jones, which I wasn't familiar with her. I guess she's in Normal People, and she was Golden Globe nominated for it. I've never seen it, and I'm not really familiar with her work. But those two are going to be heading up this project, and I'm on board just because it has ties to the Mormon Church, which I always find anything dealing with Mormon Church stuff to be fascinating. It's so weird to me. So this is an FX on Hulu kind of project based on a novel, script by Dustin Lance Black, which he, I want to say he wrote Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, maybe. He's got a couple things under his credit as well, so he's a good writer. So I'm looking forward to that. I like this Andrew Garfield renaissance we're in. He's taken some real weird projects. I didn't watch that last one he did, that mainstream over it, but I heard he like runs around naked in it. Like he's doing some crazy stuff, so. Yeah, maybe now we have to watch.
That. Yeah.
Lily Collins is going to be playing Polly Pocket for a live-action movie, written and directed by Lena Dunham. And this is Mattel. Mattel's been doing like this whole double down on like, hey, we want to make movies out of our, long-standing characters. Mm-hmm. They're doing that Barbie movie with Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig. So it's kind of cool that they're doing this with like some street cred kind of names to it. Sure. Lena Dunham, Greta Gerwig, so it makes you think it's more than just a silly movie, and I'm interested to see what they get into with this. I don't know what the storyline can be for a Polly Pocket movie. I don't know.
True. Agreed all around.
Weird. Some more casting for the HBO Lakers series. We got the people playing other people kind of thing. So Max Williams will be playing Jack Nicholson. Mike Epps is going to be playing Richard Pryor. Mariama Diallo is going to play Iman, who was the wife of one of the Lakers players during the 80s, 90s. So a couple just kind of, side characters that you're going to have during Lakers stuff that need to be represented. So it could be kind of fun. I just hope they don't go too far with, like, caricatures of those people. Like, I don't want the guy to just be, like, over-the-top Richard Pryor or over-the-top Jack Nicholson. Like, I don't know.
In your podcast feeds right now, folks, is a spotlight all on Jack. And in that we talk about his retirement and how he hasn't been around in a while. That I actually, when I saw that he was cast for this project, I was like, there's a little part of me that was hoping he would like do it and maybe de-age his face a little bit. So, like this helps bring him back. But
sure. Alexander Skarsgård is going to be heading up the next Brandon Cronenberg film titled Infinity Pool. I am down for that because I love Possessor. If you haven't seen Possessor, I highly recommend it. Go check it out. And I like the Skarsgård. I think he's pretty good. We're getting another Snow White project. We've gotten a bunch of those, but this is actually the Disney live-action version of Snow White. Rachel Ziegler is going to star in it. She is going to be having a come-out year this year with West Side Story. She's also in the Shazam sequel, I think.
Yeah.
And this is going to be directed by Mark Webb, who does like the Spider-Man stuff. So he's doing other stuff with Disney here by going and doing Snow White. I don't know if we need Snow White. But if they're going down this road and doing all these live action, this is our property, we're redoing it, I am intrigued because I never saw was it Julia Roberts did like a version, Mirror Mirror or whatever years ago? I never saw that. And then they did the Snow White like in the Huntsman or whatever. And I think I watched one of those, but I didn't watch the sequel or whatever. So
I'm worried in this world that we're in with castings and whatnot with the Seven Dwarves. Are we?
Yeah. What are you going to do with that? Yeah.
Are we casting dwarves or little people to do those roles? Or are we changing that? Or that's the only other words. Rachel Ziegler.
Or is it going to be like just CGI, like Christmas Chronicles?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Also in the article it said Pasek and Paul are doing new songs for it from like La La Land, Greatest Showman. They're pretty big songwriters. But I'm like, you already had Someday My Prince Will Come. You got Hi Ho. Sure. You got Whistle While You Work. Like, how about we at least leave those in there? Please don't get rid of those.
Yeah.
So, Jakey G, our boy Jakey G, and Vanessa Kirby are going to be in a film named Suddenly, which is a survival thriller based on a novel. They're kind of like stuck in an island kind of thing. I love it. I love both those names. I'll watch that today. Have you ever been to Pussy Island?
I have not.
Okay, well, Pussy Island is a new film coming from MGM, written and directed by Zoe Kravitz. Okay. And this is going to star Naomi Ackie and Channing Tatum. So Channing Tatum, Magic Mike himself, is going to Pussy Island.
Is that an option for our 5-year anniversary party?
Maybe
can we
we'll look into
book
it.
that
Yeah,
now?
like an Airbnb at Pussy Island.
Do
Maybe.
you have to wear masks, but not?
Nah. But it's got to have a hole right here. That's it.
Oh, Batman can't go.
A little zipper. Yep, Batman can't be there. Kaylee Cuoco and Pete Davidson are going to be in a new rom-com entitled Meet Cute. So that should be interesting. I don't know if they're the.
That's an
I don't like
interesting
them as a
match.
couple. Yeah, I
That's
don't
an
like them as a
interesting
couple.
match.
Maybe that's part of the story, I guess. All right, Christian Nair. Do you know who that actor is? Christian Nair?
Tell me.
You might know him because he likes to hold doors closed. Hodor from Game of Thrones. He is going to be joining Our Flag Means Death, the Taika Waititi thing, and he's going to be one of the pirates in the crew, so that's cool. And then one that I'm really excited about, I think this is my last one for the day here, is Willem Dafoe and Christoph Waltz are going to be in a Western film called Dead for a Dollar, directed by Walter Hill, who directed The Warriors back in the 70s. So
Oh, shoot.
I love everything about this. I love Dafoe, I love Christoph Waltz, and I love the Western is still alive. So Dead for a Dollar, can't wait for that one.
Holiday stuff. A Klusterfunk Christmas has cast Anna Gasteyer and Rachel Dratch.
Okay.
No details on the exact Christmas holiday theming there. Spirited is a Christmas Carol musical, and they have just added Sunita Mani, and she's in Glow, to the cast of Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell, and Octavia Spencer.
Okay, that's a big cast.
Musical, and those actors I've never seen before, so I'm intrigued. Ready for this holiday season. The Boys has added Laurie Holden to their recurring cast for season 3.
Okay.
The Offer, that's the making of the Godfather movie, has added Juno Temple.
Ooh, I love Juno Temple.
Manodrome is about a guy who's an Uber driver / bodybuilder champion, like wants to be a professional bodybuilder. That guy would be played by Jesse Eisenberg, because when I see Jesse Eisenberg, I think bodybuilder.
That's interesting. I wonder if he's going to like do the work and become buff for this, like go through the transformation. That could be interesting.
Riley Keough and Adrian Brody also are in that one. I'm intrigued. Like maybe he's he wants to, but he's only thin. Or maybe he's been lifting this whole time. We just don't know. Lastly for me is Unfrosted. Have you ever heard the Seinfeld and his stand-up when he does a joke about Pop-Tarts and like who invented Pop-Tarts? He did it. It's in one of his stand-ups. I think it's a recent one.
Yeah. Who invented unfrosted Pop-Tarts? That's for sure.
Exactly. That's the bit. So he has written and he will direct and he will now lead in this Netflix movie called Unfrosted about the
Pop-Tarts?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My wife got mad at me because I told her when I was a kid, if we got unfrosted Pop-Tarts, I would put butter on the top of them. And that was the only way for me to like make it taste good. Like, I don't know, I'd love a strawberry unfrosted and I'd get it nice and hot and then I'd melt some butter on top of it. That explains this right now.
I can't think if I've ever even had an unfrosted Pop-Tart.
Because they're not good. Why make them? Why buy them?
Yeah, I'm sorry for your childhood. I feel bad for you.
Well,
all right, off of the casting couch finally, and let's do a little What's in the Glass.
I'm sorry for my kids' eventual diabetes because they're inheriting my great genes. All right, What's in the Glass this week? I think I've talked about this before, kind of. So I have a caveat here because Oberon. If you're from Michigan, if you know what Oberon is, it's a big beer that comes out every year, and everyone in Michigan celebrates it. It's the thing, Oberon Day, whatever. And this is from Bell's Brewery, and they're in Comstock, Michigan, which is actually kind of close to where I used to live. And Bell's is big. I've talked about Bell's in here a couple times and referred a couple of their beers. So they came out this year with a variant on Oberon, which is like their standby. They've always made it for years, and they made a tropical Oberon this year. Ooh. So I was like, cool, man, I got to get some tropical Oberon. And behind the scenes, they stopped selling Bell's in Virginia for like a year to 2 years for some reason. Like the distribution had fallen through, whatever. So now it's back, and then you're giving me a new beer. I'm like, yes, I'm on board. So good job, Bell's. I liked Oberon. I think I like it even better now with the tropical variant. That's interesting. But
TBA.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here. It's got some passion fruit, guava, mango is supposed to be what the flavor is there. It's a limited release. I love Bell's. Most of their stuff that I get from them is good, and this is just a different version of Oberon. So tropical Oberon, seek it out at your grocery store. Or you can always get the old standby, or the Two Hearted. I always love their Two Hearted ale, very good as well. So Love me some bells. Yeah.
Rock and roll. All right, folks, that's wrapping up our second segment. We're taking a quick breather and be back for the third act of the show. All right, man, chugging along. We got to get rocking here because it's getting hot. My air conditioner's working overtime. Sorry, guys, if you're hearing any fans or lots of fans in the background there. Cause every time I feel on a show I mention it's hot, like the following week it's hotter and hotter. It's my fault.
Stop doing it. Yeah,
Ooh, it's chilly. It's like an ice road in here.
There you go. Stop it. I don't want anything to be like an ice road. All right. Let's get into the news. Couple big points this week. Harrison Ford got injured. Shockingly. While rehearsing a fight scene for Indiana Jones 5. He's 78 years old, folks, so I think you could be reaching for a jar of peanut butter and hurt your shoulder at this point.
Yeah.
Are we surprised? I'm not. I'm just wondering, I haven't heard like how severe it is, or is this going to cause delays? The article I read said that Mangold just kind of moved on and was shooting things where they could without him. And they did the same thing, I think, with the last Star Wars, if I remember right. He got injured, and they kind of had to come back around to him. So, but obviously he wasn't the star of it.
Right.
So, I don't know, man. I mean, it's been 15 years since the last movie, and it's been 40 since the first. So, obviously, this has to be his last time doing it.
Sure. Yeah. Gosh.
Is this going to get delayed, though? It's scheduled for July of next year. What do you think?
No, I think they'll be on point. I'm thinking that he might not even be the star of this one. Maybe this is a very torch-passing show, and we just
that would be
keeping
great.
things on
That
the
would be
wraps.
good. That would be good. I almost wish they would have just done like a young Indiana Jones take, and
Sure.
And whatever.
Maybe it's Indiana Beyond, like a Batman Beyond. Like
there you go.
Pass it down.
Well, two years ago, I think we talked about the fact that Steven Spielberg hated streaming, hated movies, never wanted them in the Oscars, none of that stuff. Guess what? His Amblin production company has now signed a multi-year, multi-film deal with Netflix. Not necessarily meaning he's going to be putting 2 movies a year, but this is just his company.
Yeah, production.
But he could direct a movie and put it on Netflix now. That would be quite the heel turn, as you have here. I think I did that properly.
You did.
So yeah, interesting how the turntables, as Michael Scott would say.
Crazy, but he can't ignore what's happening in Hollywood.
No,
that's what seems to happen.
Sea of change going on right now. The Hollywood Foreign Press is not being very nice. They are blocking the Critics' Choice Awards from trying to book the Beverly Hilton for next year. Critics' Choice said,
take their spot.
Critics' Choice said, you guys aren't doing a show anymore. We're going to take that spot. We're going to do it in January, like you guys did. So they're trying to make the move and become, we talked about before, what will step up. Critics' Choice wants to take that spot and be like the new Golden Globes, be a little more worldwide known and things like that. And Foreign Press is like, nah, you can't have where we do our show. So,
good for the Critics' Choice. Good for them.
They'll find somewhere. Someone's going to let them, do their show. Yeah. So it doesn't.
Jailbreak
and maybe that's good for them to do their own thing,
Sure.
As reported on The Realm, we're getting a Supernatural prequel coming to CW. They've already tried this before, I think, like twice with different like spin-off shows that didn't quite work. Mm-hmm. But this one is going to be just called The Winchesters and focusing on the parents, produced by Jensen Ackles, and he will return also just as kind of a narrator to the show. I think that could be successful. I think that's probably their best shot at having a successful thing. Who knew that Supernatural was just going to become its own like brand like that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Same.
We got some release date movement. Dune. Actually, I will shout out Roy. If you listen to The Realm this week, he said that Dune is not getting the HBO Max release, which is wrong. I don't know if he just didn't get the updated news on that. It is still getting the HBO Max release. So just want to make sure our fans know that and there's no confusion. But they did move the date. They moved the date now to October 22nd, moved it back a little bit. It is debuting at Film Festival, maybe Cannes or one of those over the summer. But then it's going to be HBO Max and theaters October 22nd. The interesting thing is now that's the same date as French Dispatch was already slotted for that day. So now we're getting double Chalamet, baby. I'm going to be at the theater for 4 hours watching Chalamet all day. Can't wait. They also did move a couple things. Many Saints of Newark moved into the old Dune spot, so October 1st. Then Cry Macho moved up 3 weeks. This is the new Clint Eastwood movie, and that's now going to be in September 17th. So a couple movements over there on the WB side, HBO side.
Really? Isn't it at Venice? It's going to be Venice as well, right?
Venice, is that what it is? Okay. I said Cannes. Maybe it was, yeah.
Cannes works too. I'll do that.
AMC is slated to do an 8-part Interview with the Vampire series with the showrunner of Perry Mason. This is weird, though, because I thought we already talked about this story for Hulu. And maybe it was like almost 2 years ago that they were shopping around this series, and I thought it was going to be a Hulu. So I don't know if this is the same series that just moved from Hulu over to AMC. I mean, because then it'll end up on Hulu anyways if it's AMC. But or if this is a separate series, I'm not sure, because there's also an adaptation out there of Mayfair Witches, which is another series by the same author, and that's going to be at AMC as well. So AMC's trying to like find their next thing. I think they know Walking Dead is ending, and they're like, let's get into vampires now instead, and this is going to be it, and we're going to go down this road, you know. So we'll see how this pans out. But other than that, I think that's all my news besides our Marvel and DC, which we'll get to in a minute. Did you have anything else?
Movies That Made Us, season 3.
Yeah, baby. Wait. You all right? What?
Oh, I thought you said wait.
No, I said I can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Not a bad list of films there that they just dropped coming July 23rd. That's their normal thing to the old Netflix or Rue. Who made this list of films for them? Us?
Yeah, basically.
It's like they said, hey, Take Two Podcast, what are your 3 favoriteest films of all time? Oh, here they are. 2 of the movies that made us. Pretty Woman, to start things off. The Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and Forrest Gump.
Awesome, yeah. Which, I mean, the only thing is, like, Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, I feel like there's been a lot of shows that have already, like, delved into that. Yeah. So what can you really tell me new? But these are great movies. I can't wait. Our buddy Brian PodRecs is a producer on this. He actually liked my comment talking about it, and we need to get him on our show. We've kind of chatted about it on the side a little bit, but he does some great stuff. Yeah.
According to Tyrese, Fast 10 and 11, which is technically just Fast 10, but it's a 2-parter, will be filmed back to back so they can release them quickly, probably like 1 year apart, same date type deal. But they're scheduled to knock them both out and finish things up.
Interesting, you know. And with this one just hitting this summer, but it's been in the can for a while. I guess they haven't started filming the new one. So when are we going to see it? Are we going to see it 23?
Yeah, so maybe 23, 24 wraps it up.
I wonder why they've never moved this to like a Christmas release. Maybe this could be a big Christmassy movie, you know? True. Just a thought. I don't know. Like maybe if they start it now, they could get it out next Christmas.
Did you see that ScarJo is a Tower of Terror movie?
Really?
Oh, that's a computer thing. Yeah, she's producing and going to be in lead of a new Tower of Terror movie through Disney's production company as well.
Which they already did one like years ago. There was like a Disney. Was it with her? No, it was Kirsten Dunst. I think was in it.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I don't think I saw it, but I remember that it exists. So.
And lastly, that I have is that Tarantino was on, and they were talking to him, of course, about his 10th film and what will he do. And he said, you know what, I've been thinking lately, what if I just remake Reservoir Dogs since nobody saw it the first time?
What? No.
I'm pretty sure he was just screwing around with everybody, but still, like, it sent people into a tizzy like, what? That would be your 10th film? And he was like, yeah, I could remake it, big budget, you know, do all that kind of jazz.
I think he says a lot of things in jest, and people run with it, and because I was listening to him on Mark Maron this morning, the WTF podcast Mark Maron does, and he was talking about that, the 10th movie, and Maron asked him, like, are you really retiring? Like, and with this movie? He's like, He's like, I've said that, and people, you know, I kind of had a giggle in my voice, and people have run with it. And he's like, and people still, like, stand by it. So, in a way, I'm like, wait a minute, our real friends are, like, really sticking to that. Like, that is golden, and they're supposed to be friends with them, but it's like, he's kind of saying maybe it's not true. Maybe he's not going to be done with 10. Because he has his new book out. He did the book release, I think today or whatever, of his take on Once Upon a Time, and Mark Maron said he already read it, and he said it's quite different from the movie. So now I'm intrigued to like read it possibly. He said there's a lot more backstory on Cliff, and you get some more stuff in there with Rick and everything, and I kind of want to see it because I love that movie.
That wraps up our Hollywood news. Time for a little DC discussion.
Yeah, let's start off the DC discussion. Wow, what did I do here?
The trailer, probably.
The trailer, yeah. Let's talk about the
trailer. Yeah.
No, it's all good. We got a second look at Suicide Squad. Second or third, I don't even know, however many it's been now. But another Suicide Squad trailer. What did you think about this one? Better. Worse?
Better.
Okay.
I liked it better. Had me more intrigued. I wish I could not see John Cena. I could do without the, isn't that slang for a butthole?
I like that. I thought that was good. But I'm childish, so.
I don't know. I mean, Elba seems to be straight up replacing Will Smith, like character for character.
I was gonna say, I
Has a
looked how
daughter, was in
they kind of
jail.
focused on him though, like in this one, like
Oh yeah,
introducing this character, so that was
yeah.
interesting.
The
Because the
part
other
I
trailers were like, "Hey, remember Harley? We love Harley," and then also like introducing Cena. But so we're
yeah,
kind of taking a route of like introducing the new characters,
true.
which is smart.
True. It's kind of how the first movie opened up. Just here's his character. The part I loved the best was the very throwaway line in the beginning, but it probably wasn't a throwaway line, of his character shot, put Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite
Oh yeah,
bullet,
yeah, yeah.
which
And
did
there's been a lot
happen.
of speculation now too of like, are we gonna get a
Yeah,
cameo maybe or something like that? I
yeah.
don't think Cavill could do it though.
Not unless they give him the deal. His whole shtick
Are
was
they
he
just
had
gonna
one.
not show his head again? Like
Yeah.
put him
Yep.
in gauze?
Yep. Mirror, mirror. Yeah, but I mean that did happen in the comics. That character did do that. So I was like, oh, that's cool. They're kind of taking from that, and then of course it's going to get everybody all jazzed up for it. So I liked it. I liked it. I'm
Yeah,
still intrigued. August 3rd, right? 6th,
something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
It's funny to me how you have pretty good actors in these movies like this. Like Idris Elba is a damn good actor.
Yeah.
Viola Davis is a damn good actor. Like to get these people in these movies is impressive. Or Margot Robbie, whoever, So
2 Oscar winners, right? Robbie and Viola. Yeah. So.
yeah, that's impressive. All right, the other thing I saw from DC this weekend, I think Roy scooped us on this, is Madam X is coming to HBO Max. J.J. Abrams producing it, written by Angela Robinson. She did that Professor Marston in the Wonder Woman movie a couple years ago.
Okay, I saw it. Yeah.
And so this just leads you to believe, like, this is the build-up. They're doing the Justice League Dark. They're building it up. They're giving Constantine a show. They're giving Madam X, they're doing Zatanna. Like, they're building up these characters one by one, which is smart because they didn't do it that way last time,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody really knows Madam X that well. I don't personally.
No.
But show me something and maybe I'll watch it. That's where I'm at with it, and that's all I had on DC. Do you have anything else?
Super Pets, the League of Super Pets. We talked about The Rock is playing Crypto. We got more cast members in that. Kevin Hart, John Krasinski, Natasha Lyonne, Kate McKinnon, and Keanu Reeves.
Okay. It's a
Hell
pretty
of
big cast.
Hell of a voice cast to be doing this.
Kevin Hart's going to be like, what are you telling me? I'm Batman's dog? What? Batman don't need a dog? He's just going to be yelling? I don't know.
That is 2 Kevin Hart impressions on one episode, folks. You're welcome for listening to the Take Two podcast, just for all of those. Tom Welling dropped on his Instagram. Oh, by the way, me and Mike Rosenbaum have been working on this Smallville animated series, and we're getting as many of the cast back together to do all the voiceover work. Keep you posted.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
So keep us posted, Tom Welling. Come on our show and reveal the details. We would love to hear all about it. Zack Snyder's Justice League is getting a 4K Blu-ray release in September. I saw quite a few folks are pumped for that one. Okie dokie.
Whatever happened with, I thought there was some talk early on of them, like, putting that in theaters. Whatever happened with that? I know they did, like, some charity showings and stuff, but why not put it out?
I don't know why they did either. There had to have been, like, an HBO, we'll let you do all this and give you cash, but no, you won't do theaters? I don't know, because, I mean, if they put it in theaters and it makes box office. But I'm with you. I thought we had heard, didn't you want to do the black and white version in theaters, too?
Something, yeah. It's interesting, though, because I was looking at it the last couple of weeks where, like, before Fast 9 released, there was kind of a desert in there where there weren't like a lot of big releases. You could have went back and released some of these movies that released over the pandemic and gave them their box office run.
Sure.
Something like a Justice League would have been. It probably would have done gangbusters. So.
What Warner Brothers should have done is said, we'll release it to theaters if you give every dime of it to your suicide prevention thing for your daughter. And Zach would have been like, sign me up. That's fine by me if they were smart. Suicide Squad. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Suicide Squad will have a post-credit scene. Runtime is coming in at around 2:20. Manageable.
2:20?
Yep.
Okay, I wish that was under 2 hours. When you're dealing with characters like that, yeah.
Yep.
That's another thing with Fast 9 that kept me from the theater was 2:20 for that one. So
you talked about that's like a 4-hour chunk of your day, depending on how far you are from the theater. Because it's 3 hours for the movie and the trailers, and then however far you live.
Got to get your seat, get your snacks, get situated, all that. Yeah.
All right, last DC that I have is some more set pictures of Ezra Miller on the set of the new Michael Keaton Batman movie have been revealed.
Oh, okay. I didn't see him. What's so special about him?
I said it backwards on purpose to try and make me giggle. It didn't even work. No, they put out more Michael Keaton pics on the Flash movie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was saying it backwards because everyone's excited for Michael Keaton.
Yeah, no one cares about this movie for Flash. No one.
No, it's all Michael Keaton.
I would say there's more, or I'd say there's people who are even like, ooh, Supergirl, like more so than Flash. Like, I don't care about Flash. Ezra Miller sucks. Okay, sorry.
Look it up on IMDb, folks, and tell me which actor comes up first. He's currently
I
listed.
bet it's.
He's listed as fourth currently.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good.
Done with DC. On to Marvel.
All right, Marvel. We kind of skipped over the trailer to talk about it here. Shang-Chi gave us another look, and I was the one who was negative on the first trailer and said, it's not doing anything for me. This one, I'm in. They did a great job showing me that, like, father-son fight, the 10 rings, all that stuff, like giving me a little more explanation on that. They kept Aquafina and the humor out of this one, which is good. I like that. Plus, they showed us Abomination is back. We already kind of knew he was going to be in She-Hulk, but I was like, damn, that's cool. They brought Abomination to the trailer. And was he fighting Wong?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, I was like, what is that, Wong? Like, I was distracted by Abomination, but I was like, that's cool.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm all in on this trailer. I thought this made it look way better.
Yeah, I was positive on it before, kind of Now I'm more so positive. Again, I know nothing about Shang-Chi, so this is all going to be brand new. I almost actually last night started like just Googling some stuff on the character for background since they're going to hit us hard with it, but look good.
Yeah, same. I'm not big on it because I listened to somebody else talking about it too, and they thought there might have been like maybe an Iron Fist kind of reference in there too. So maybe they're laying that for like, hey, down the road we could have these characters kind of in the same world, and that could be a way to work him back in. Obviously, probably recast as well.
Of course. Oh, that's right.
Otherwise, the only other Marvel thing that was all the talk of the town this week was Loki is bisexual. Spoiler alert.
What?
Episode 3 gave us that big reveal. You know, if you know the comics and you know the origin of the character, that was already kind of a thing and are kind of already out there.
Sure.
But for the people who have never seen it and now it's in the lore, it's in the canon of the MCU. So, and I saw something with the writer-director came out and said, like, the whole episode was filmed on purpose with, like, pride colors. It was a very colorful episode if you think back on it, and they were trying to do that on purpose, and it was released in June. You know, all that kind of stuff they really took into heart and wanted to do it in a special way. So,
yeah, good on them. Yeah, I was saying she very, like that was the most important part of this whole series for her to put that out there.
Yeah.
But, okay, and
it was
I'm
a good
glad.
episode.
Yeah.
It was a good episode. You know, we'll come back to it when we review the whole series, but this was probably my favorite episode almost because I liked finding more out about Sylvie and her backstory, her character in a way. So
them together are great. Their chemistry is great, and to him coming out as bisexual, I'm glad it wasn't like some big over the head hammer. It was just part of life. Like, yes.
And I'm glad Disney didn't come out beforehand and say, watch what we're gonna do in this episode. You know, it was just kind of subtle in there, and if you read it. If you got it, you got it. Because, like, my kids are watching it. They were like, what is he saying? Like, they didn't get that, really, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the way this stuff should be done. It's just natural. It's just part of conversation, whatever. So
Agreed all around.
I didn't have anything else with the Marvel, though.
Quantumania has begun filming this week. Bum, bum, bum.
Nice. I'm interested to see what they do because they're using that same Mandalorian technology. I want to see how that works for them.
Elizabeth Olsen claims that Doctor Strange 2 is scarier than Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. She said when she watched it as a kid, she was very scared watching Indy, and then this is like way scarier. But I think the reference was because who was supposed to direct it originally when they announced it was a horror?
Scott Derrickson, I thought.
Yeah, that sounds right. But they backed out, and then they said
he was the original director. He was the original director of Doctor Strange, and then he didn't.
Yeah, because they wanted to do horror. I don't know.
And they gave it to Raimi. I would say the only Indiana Jones movie that's actually has horror tinges is Temple of Doom, not the first one. So that's
agree. Sure, they ripped the damn heart out. Yeah. Last thing for me is that Doctor Strange was in WandaVision in the post-credit scene. Did you see that?
No. Where?
All right, so apparently the post-credit scene has been documented.
Where she's doing the thing.
Whatever. So as we pan across that lake and see the mountainside before we get to her house, someone noticed that the tree line looks different now than when it was released. So then they went back and saw someone who posted the episode, or the post-credit scene at least, onto YouTube, and sure enough, the tree line looks different. They look greener, and you can see a figure kind of like floating. As if it were floating down towards the house, but it's like a shadow. Very subtle. Very, very subtle. And if you want to, you can say, well, maybe that's Doctor Strange with his cape, like, flowing. Yeah. How people see this shit, I will never fathom. Like, I watch it and it's like, ooh, trees.
Yeah.
Like,
I was going to say maybe maybe that'll make sense once that movie comes out, and maybe that'll be like we're going to see the same scene. We're going to see him arriving to the house while she's doing that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they're doing there. So it could be interesting.
Marble Minute is done. It's time for us to wrap up the show and go forward.
Going forward is kind of busy this week. We are recording this on the 28th of June. The 30th of June, we're going to get America on Netflix. Have you seen the trailer for this? I saw the trailer like a couple weeks ago. I never sent it your way, but it's like an animated, kind of like R-rated thing. It almost looks like Team America, something like that in a way, but it's just called America, the movie, I think. It's going to be on Netflix. It looks kind of fun. Like George Washington looks like he's like buff and like carrying an axe and all this stuff.
Nice. Wait, is that the one where he fights Sam Adams?
I think so. I think so, yeah.
All right.
I'm going to watch it. Why not?
Sure.
Zola is hitting theaters. Yeah, Zola's hitting theaters on the 30th, which I talked about as one of my anticipated films of the year. I can't wait. I've heard really good things from people who have seen it, critics and whatnot. So I don't know if I'll get to see it in the theaters, though, but I really do want to see it. So I might have to wait and see it at home. I don't know. Speaking of at home, No Sudden Move hits HBO Max this weekend, July 1st. Definitely going to have time to check that one out and talk about that on the show, hopefully next week. As well as Fear Street. Fear Street is coming to Netflix. This is part one of that series. This is the 1994 film. We're going to get one new film each week for the next 3 weeks. Okay. I'm pumped. Can't wait to watch that one. Sticking with kind of a horror angle, Forever Purge hits theaters this weekend. That's kind of your big release, I guess, of the weekend is Forever Purge. I don't know if anybody's really caring about that, so I'm predicting F9 will probably win the box office again this weekend. On the 2nd, we're getting Tomorrow War on Amazon Prime. I'm guessing we'll probably watch that too and have a review on that next week. Werewolves Within. This is a movie that I really wanted to see. It was big at Tribeca, and then it had a limited theater run. It looks fun. It's coming to PVOD as well, so I'm going to try and track that one down maybe next week. If not, the week after, we'll talk about that. Summer of Soul, which was a big Sundance documentary done by Questlove. That's actually getting dropped on Hulu, so if I can catch up with that one, I would like to watch that and have a review for that. And then lastly, Boss Baby Family Business. I think that's getting a theatrical and Peacock release, like day and date. Okay. So if you like The Boss Baby, we're getting a sequel, and that's this weekend as well. So big weekend, obviously holiday weekend. Everyone's going to be trying to watch stuff. It sucks because I know here I looked at the forecast, it's going to be raining all weekend. So it might be a good weekend to stay inside and watch some stuff and catch up. And we'll have at least, 4 or 5 reviews probably right there for next week if we have time. So it's going to be a busy one.
No fireworks, just watching movies, baby.
Yeah.
That's fine. Loki can do the fireworks with his hand.
There you go.
Magic. He can do the fireworks. On Thursday for Take Two Podcast, you will get your poll dropped out there. That runs Thursday through Sunday, so feel free to vote all weekend long. Share that upon your socials. We very much so appreciate that. Friday, you get a brand new Patreon episode if you are a Patreon subscriber. It's the only way you can listen. It's only $1. For that $1, you get a previous 35-plus episodes and at least 2 episodes a month going forward, plus merchandise and shout-outs and fun things, all to that effect. Patreon.com, Take Two Podcast. Look us up and subscribe today. We're also on YouTube. We'd love to have you guys there at Take Two Podcast on Instagram, Facebook. You can find us, on Twitter. Sunday, you're going to get that adjusted scheduled spotlight. We're going to bump that just a week because schedules went nuts, so we're going to throw that out this weekend for you guys to listen to and enjoy.
Yeah, and to that, Patreon subscribers, stick with us, please. We've got some nice things that we might be planning in the near future. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, stay tuned. And if you're not, or you know someone who isn't yet, tell them to jump on, and then they can benefit from the cool stuff coming their way soon. Also, just a quick reminder, it's June, almost July. Less than 4 months until we're like hitting that 5-year mark. And we were kind of talking about maybe some big plans coming around that time as well. So stay tuned for maybe like October. A announcement coming your way of something that we might have planned that could be fun and maybe a way to get back together with our fans. It's been a while, and I would love to do that.
Lastly, happy 4th of July, bud.
Yeah,
It's so weird. It's kind of snuck up on me. I was like, oh, yeah, it's July next week, which means that, 4th of July. That's next weekend.
Yeah,
so happy
same
Independence
year. And this is actually one of the few years that I'm like going to be able to enjoy some of my weekend at home. I feel like usually we work a lot of the July 4th, weekend. Sure. So one of those rare years where I might be able to enjoy some of it. I know the weather's going to suck, but it is what it is. And, everybody remember to celebrate and enjoy that and watch some good films this weekend.
I forever hold that I feel the first Friday in July should be Independence Day. That's your federal holiday. That's your day off.
Oh.
That first Friday.
Instead of the Monday or whatever?
Instead of, make it the Friday going in, so that way you can do the fireworks that night. Everyone has their barbecues into a 3-day weekend. Now you have the weekend after it because everyone's usually up a little bit later for that. And then the 4th of July, we'll still recognize it as Independence Day. This is the 4th of July. You can still recognize it, but the federal holiday, first Friday in July.
That's what they do in my neighborhood. They're doing the fireworks on Friday night. So
I'll be there. Okay, I'll come on down.
Yeah. There you go. It'll be raining.
Episode 200 and what are we? What episode is this?
46, I think.
46? That's only it? Yeah, 46. Dang. I got them backwards. 246. Have a great night, everybody.
See ya. Math is hard.